Hey guys, what's up? It's the Pajama Pants Player, the best in the world, here with you on this, I believe it's Wednesday morning, yeah. So, yeah, I woke up really early. I figured, why not hit the horror movie top 20 list of all time, you know, add the next film to the list, the next all-time classic film to the list, and what better way to add number 1 than Friday 4? Yes, I'm talking about Friday the 13th. The final chapter. Now, this movie came out in 1984, obviously following Friday the 13th Part 3, which I actually have a review up of. I'm not as big a market for that film as most people are, but I still do really respect it a lot. But I don't know. To me, when it comes to great slasher movies, when it comes to great Jason movies, I don't think there's anything better than Part 4. Granted, when I made the list originally, I said I wasn't going to say this, but I figured, what the hell, why the hell not? I had an unwritten rule that you can only have one film from the major franchises on my list. So obviously, I can't have more than 2 Friday the 13th films, more than 2 Halloween films, Hellraiser films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, etc., Nightmare on Elm Street. And, you know, that was pretty much my rule, but, you know, I was thinking about cheating on it, maybe that I'd review them both, but I figured that would be too long of a video, and, you know, I figured I'd just review Part 5 down the road. But if this is number 1 on my top Friday the 13th, you know, in the franchise, then Friday 5 is 1A, because that movie's perfect just as well, and I'll explain, you know, all the reasons that that's just as good as this, if not better. You know, on certain days, those two switch for me. That's one of those things, man. Like, there's certain days where I'll say, you know what, no, Part 5's better. You know what, I like the final chapter better. Like, it's just, they're so close. They're just 1 and 1A to me, and it you know, flip a coin, how I feel or what mood I'm in. You know, they're just both fantastic films, and I couldn't recommend either one enough. But I'm going to have to go with this one today because of, you know, the gore master Tom Savini returning to kill what he had started. You know, Jason Voorhees, the character that we had seen all the way back in Part 1, and Tom Savini almost was... I always found it kind of ironic that Tom Savini at that time was so green and so young in his career, and then by this time it's like he's the gore master because, you know, he did films like The Burning and The Prowler and Creepshow, you know, like he would do movies like that to really build up his rep, and I think this is the second best effects movie he did overall. Granted, the one that came out the year after this, you know, Day of the Dead, I think that's his absolute masterpiece. You know, I think that's his Citizen Kane, if you will. But this is obviously one of my favorite all-time horror films. It's number 1-4 on the list. So without further ado, let me get a little bit into the plot, as though Friday the 13th movies don't really have plots. But don't tell anybody. So basically, it's the end of Part 3. Jason's in the farmhouse with an axe stuck in his head from old Damon Kimmel, who I can't stand. Sorry, you're hot, but you're not anything else. You know, no charisma. But Jason is brought to a morgue. This doctor's trying to get it on with this nurse. There's this hilarious scene where he's trying to, like, seduce her, and there's, like, an exercise video on. You know, those ones that come on at, like, 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Just really random. And they're just in the, like, the room where all the dead bodies are, and it's just like, it's just such an odd fucking scene. Like, you feel uncomfortable for laughing, but it's just so funny. Like, it's just like, what, like, of all the places to take her, like, you could take her in maybe a resting bed. There's a fucking bed in there. He's just trying to bring her in where all these dead bodies are. Like, I don't know, that would personally creep me out. I don't know about you. Maybe I'm not as sick as people, but that's just me. And I consider myself a sick motherfucker, but I don't know, I guess not that sick. And, of course, Jason disposes of them with one of the coolest, you know, kills in the Friday the 13th series. You have, you know, this doctor's a medical sauce put to his throat, slit, and then a 180-degree turn of his head. And it's just, it's brutal, man. I mean, all this blood comes out, and it really does look real, because a lot of this movie, I agree with Tom Savini, a lot of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, a lot of the effects are great because they're so quick. They're so quickly shown. You don't really get to see enough of it to say, oh, I see that that's plastic latex. Oh, I see that that's this. Oh, I see that that's that. It's very, very quick, so it's almost like playing a trick on your eyes and your mind. And it really makes you, you know, like, I think that's something that horror films, you know, even gore films should really do more. I think it's, you know, I know all the gore hounds, I want to see gore galore, I want to see it all, I want to see it all. And there's a time and place for that, and I totally agree with that. I'm totally on board with that. But I think this movie really was subtle with it. I mean, there's plenty of gore, don't get me wrong, but it's just so quick and kind of, it jumps around everywhere, and the editing is so fantastic in this movie that I really do think it's just perfectly done. Like, I don't think they could have done it any better. So props to Tom Savini on that one. And basically, we're introduced to these bunch of kids that are going up to camp as Jason is simultaneously going up to camp as well. I guess he's walking up there. I don't know. And I love these kids. I think they are the most real kids in the series. That was one thing, like, definitely better than Part 5. I like the characters in this film a little bit more. You have Crispin Glover's character, and you have, what's his name? The character of Teddy. For some reason, his name's escaping my mind. His real name, maybe it'll come to me. But they're just bickering and bantering, man. And I just love the Jimbo and Teddy. Jimbo's Crispin Glover's character, and they're just in the back of the car, and they're like the two. I guess they're the two minorities in this film. They're not like pot smokers really, although they do smoke pot, but they're not like unfunny like the two in Part 3. Like, I just always found those to be like throwaway characters. I was like, like. They smoke pot. The guy looks like Tommy Chong. What else do you got to bring to the table? These two have tons of stuff to bring to the table. I mean, the classic, you broke up with Blowjob Betty. He's like, yeah, man, I just don't know what the fuck happened. He said, all right, let me put your situation into the computer. He pretends to put something into the dashboard. He's typing on the dashboard. He goes, Jimbo, it says you're a dead fuck. And he's like, what? A dead fuck? And he's like, the computer don't lie. And I just love that banter between the two. Like, they had just such great chemistry, man. It almost felt like they had been friends since childhood. Like, you really bought that friendship. At least I did. And I don't know, man. Also, Teddy's character, who's Lawrence Modison, that's his damn name. Thank you. I don't know, that would have bothered me if I had ended this video and then it would have came to me while I was editing this shit together, if I do edit it together, which I probably won't. I won't lie to you guys. But Lawrence Modison said him and Crispin Glover offset would kind of they would kind of have these little interactions where, like, let's try to communicate off screen, so therefore when we're in front of the camera we can just be, absolutely perfect, like, no, we can't miss a beat. And I think that that's something that a lot of actors in slasher films probably don't do, and that's probably why it feels forced. Look at the Halloween remake. Danielle Harris, Scout Taylor Compton, and the other bitch that played Linda. Those three had no chemistry. You would have thought they met that day. And then you look at a movie like this, like, you just feel like they've been friends forever. Like, like they've gone through these classic high school things and shenanigans and all this stuff. Like, I don't know, that's just me. Like, I think that's a really big part of a film, like the little details like that. Like, it just really, to me, like, packs that bigger punch. And then, of course, you have the, girl that's nice and prude, and then you have the guy that has a pretty face, and he's trying to break her skin. Yeah, I went there. And then you have the whore and the jock, and, they're all likable enough, too. Like, they're more, like, for those quintessential slasher characters, they're a little bit more likable than, the regulars or, the average ones. Like, they're a little above average, and that's always good. And they pretty much go to this house, and across the street from them are the Jarvis family. You have Corey Feldman, played Tommy Jarvis, who's kind of the rip-off of the Tom Savini real life when he was a child. And you have Trish, who's awesome character. And their mother, and there's no father. There's really no mention of him. At least I don't think there is. And they just kind of live up there all year round. They don't really see people. So when they see them, like, oh my god, people, like, it's really funny. And I really love Corey Feldman in this, man. Like, I really thought he knocked it out of the park. And it's one of his breakout roles almost. Like, it was one of those movies that really put him on the map. Of course, he'd go on to do Goonies. I think he did Gremlins before this, or maybe even after this. I'm not sure which order they came out. I think they both came out in '84, so for whatever that's worth. So he was on fire at this time, and of course, Lost Boys and License to Drive, or that, like, just his career just fucking skyrocketed after this, and deservingly so. And I don't know, I mean, it's just a typical Jason slasher movie from there. I mean, there's great dialogue between the characters, there's some great kills. I won't try to ruin them all, I have to mention a few of them. The corkscrew kill, the meat cleaver to the face, The part where it throws there's twins in this one. There's twins. Yep. You have to see it to believe it, but there are twins in this one. They're not that hot, but I don't know. It's just the fact that, like, let's put twins in the movie, like two, like, good-looking twins. And it's just like, I love the Jimbo and Teddy. They're like, count 'em, Jimbo. 1, 2, 1 for me, 1 for you. Like, it's just so funny. It's just like, because that's real. Like, that I could totally see somebody saying that. It's not like, remember when he said that outlandish line? It's like, no, he said that's something somebody would say. At least I think it would be. And, there's, I don't want to ruin that one. See, this is one of those movies that, like, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you. Go watch it. It's just an awesome slasher flick. If you don't like slasher films, I mean, I guess you wouldn't like this, but if you haven't really seen too many slasher films, I meant to say, give this one a watch. This would be, like, my first most recommended one, probably. Like, this is one of my favorite slasher films of all time. Maybe not number 1, but it's definitely on that top 5 if I was to make a list of that. But that's, another list for another day. But great kills in this one. The shower kill, the axe kill, the kill with the rake. Man, there's just so many awesome kills in this movie. And I always loved the final, thing with Corey Feldman and Jason and, there's this other character I forgot. I've yet to mention. There's another character who's looking for his sister who was missing from part 2, and her name is Sandra, and he's, I'm trying to find her. He meets up with Trish. She kind of likes him. He kind of likes her. And sorry that the phone is ringing, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I could edit it out. If not, fuck it. It's Sarasota, Florida, by the way. That's fucking weird. Who's calling me from Sarasota, Florida? Yeah, though, I kind of liked their chemistry. It felt a little bit forced, but it was good enough to the point where it was just like, it is what it is. And of course, I really like that ending where Corey Feldman kind of makes himself to look like Jason as a child. And he's, Jason, don't you remember, Jason? And Jason kind of just walks towards him, and it's just like, I don't know, it's so powerful. To me, it's the only thing that matches up maybe to the Amy Steele thing at the end of part 2 where she puts Jason's mother's sweater on, and it's all done, Jason. It's all done, and Mommy is pleased. Like, that's just badass, man. That just speaks, like, so many kinds of levels on how cool a character can be, and I really dig part 4, the final chapter. It's number 14 on my all-time favorite horror movie list. Joe Zito, you kick ass. Tom Savini, you kick ass. Cast, crew, I mean, you had good characters, good dialogue, boobs, blood, mayhem, awesomeness, Jason, everything that makes a good Friday the 13th film, everything that makes a good slasher film, everything that makes a good horror film, and that is why it is on my top 20 list. And, I may record another one of these. I may do number 13 too, because that's the unlucky one next. I figure I'm up so early, so why the hell not, Yeah, so maybe I'll upload 2 today since it's been a while. So, hope you all enjoyed the review. I am John Grande. I am the Pajama Pants Player. I am the best in the world, and you will be seeing me up next, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.